Well, hello, my love. A little birdie told me that you are interested in understanding human design. So let's start with your aura. This is probably the most important, arguably the most important part about understanding your human design, because it helps you understand what aura you have, what energy type you have. And once you understand this information, you can better understand how you show up in the world, so you can stop feeling burnt out, exhausted, and confused. What decision do you make? What actually feels good to you? You're going to start to understand this better and better when you start living your design. So by starting with the energy type, this will help you better understand yourself as an individual and the way you attract. If you're ready to get deeper insights and to truly learn how to live a more aligned life, you can check out my 3-month program, the Live by Design Vortex, through my website, rxtarot.com. So there are 5 main energy types in human design. The most popular ones are definitely generators and mani-gens. This is about 70% of the population if you group them all together. And both generators and mani-gens are sacral beings. What this means is you have a defined sacral, and your aura is warm and welcoming. As a generator or a mani-gen, you are somebody who is designed to fall in love with whatever it is you're doing. Love the process of it, love the work, love getting into it and making it happen, and really being a part of it is what your magic really is. Now, where some people get this a little bit confused is they make it seem like generators are supposed to do all of the work. That's not true. Generators love the work they do when they're in alignment, when they're living their human design, but they're not just meant to be here to work. This is actually one of the most popular misconceptions of generators and mani-gens, and it's why people don't understand how to use this energy type as well as they could. When you are a sacral being, when you have your sacral defined, this means that you have unending life force energy that can spark through you when you are doing something you love. When you are in pleasure, when you are in joy, when you are in play mode, endless energy. I have quite a few examples myself. One of my favorite things to do ever is paint. Whether I'm painting just like a simple paint by numbers or I'm painting a whole canvas, it doesn't matter. Painting used to be my thing. I need to bring it back. I really do. But the problem was I could paint for 5.5 hours, not pick my head up, not take a sip of water, not eat anything, and just keep going. So as a generator, I had to learn when enough is enough. You kind of have to learn to cut it off as well, because if you just keep going, you're going to start to hurt yourself in other ways. So just because you're a generator or a mani-gen does not mean that you're supposed to endlessly be working 80-hour weeks, okay? You need to find a way to rest as well, and you have to find a better flow with it. As a generator myself, I have found that if I work a little bit every day and then also give myself time to rest, that works better for me than if I were to work 5 days, take 2 full days off. And the reason is, as a generator, it's easier for me to keep up my own pace. So if I'm going at a slow pace, but I'm still moving, it's actually easier for me. Now, this is the big difference between a generator and a mani-gen. Generators are meant to be focused on one task, moving in a forward direction. This doesn't mean that you can't do multiple things. It's just harder for you to build momentum if you're not focused on one thing at a time. Mani-gens are gonna feel a lot better if they're juggling multiple things. It's almost like they can get like a secondary boost of excitement off of doing multiple tasks and having multiple things to do. So generators, being a one-track mind, they really need to learn to focus on what they love and trust the building of it. Trust falling in love with the work is going to lead to success. Mani-gens need to learn how to juggle multiple tasks that feel really satisfying, and all of it will start to come together in this really beautiful way. Generators and mani-gens both have the same strategy. It is to respond. What does this really mean? So because your aura as a generator is warm and welcoming, When you are in flow, when your sacral is blooming, when you feel good, when you feel happy, when you feel this sense of fulfillment and the sense of satisfaction, you naturally attract opportunities to you. Here's the part that's important. It is your job to decide if those opportunities are good for you or not. You're going to continue to pull opportunities your way. There's just sort of this, when you are in flow, there will just be an endless opportunity list, okay? And depending on how excited you are, you really have to start to pay attention. How much energy do I actually have? So, how do you do this? As a sacral authority, you're going to wait to respond, and you're going to listen to your gut. When you feel that, like, ooh, that's so exciting, that sounds so fun, follow that. When something comes up and you're like, oh, like, God, I don't want to do this, don't do it. And if you have to do it, you have to figure out how to want to do it. Because if you try to do it with that, oh, you can do it, but your energy is going to deplete so much faster. So figure out a way to get yourself excited about it. My favorite way to explain this is doing the dishes. Most people don't really care for doing the dishes, right? And if you're a generator and you know you have to do the dishes, it's easier to show up and get excited about the dishes when you're pretending you're in an 80s movie and you're doing like a whole dance, right? Or you're just listening to Wicked for the 400th time, right? So lean into that. Let yourself lean into whatever makes it easier for you to do the tasks that you don't necessarily want to do, but you have to. Find a way to fit the joy in. And that's pretty much the whole story for generators and mani-gens. If you can let yourself expand your joy, everything else is going to start to work easier for you, I promise. Now, manifestors are going to be very different than a mani-gen or a generator. Manifestors have an aura that is repelling. Now, I feel like when you hear that first, that may feel a little bit offensive, so let me explain. You have an aura that pushes things out of the way. You push people out of the way, you push energies out of the way, you make way, okay? You make way. So as a manifestor, when you are in your power and you take action on what feels good to you and what's exciting to you, you have the energy of a conqueror. You can make things happen that seem absolutely impossible. You can start a whole trend. You're the trailblazer, okay? Now, the trickiest part about being a manifestor is you are the initiator. So nothing's gonna happen until you do something. Until you say so, until you wanna make it happen, that's when it's gonna happen. So if you're waiting for the right time or you're waiting for the right opportunity or you're unsure, you need to ask yourself, do I just not feel confident, or is there something else going on here? Is there a reason that I'm not actually going all in? Now, with that being said, as a manifestor, there are multiple different things that could potentially be your authority within you. So it's not as cut and dry as a mani-gen or a generator. So as a manifestor, check out your authority. I'll make those videos soon. Hopefully they will be up shortly after I post this one. But as a manifestor, your strategy is to inform. The reason is you're just kind of giving people a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to move you out of the way. When you inform the people around you, especially the generators and the mani-gens, they can help you make your vision come together. When you inform people, hey, just so you know, this is where I'm headed, they might get really excited and be able to actually give you the boost that you need to make it happen. One of the trickiest things for a manifestor is when things are not aligning, when things are not making sense. It can feel like there's something you're doing wrong, and it's because of your energy, your aura. You know that you are here to be the conqueror, intuitively, instinctually. So when you're trying to make it happen and it's not working, there's a few different things that you can go down the route of. Deconditioning. Is there a lack of confidence? Is there something stuck in your aura, stuck in your energy field that is not actually serving you anymore? Is there a limiting belief? Things like that. Or is the timing just not right and you're not trusting that? Sometimes it could be the astrology. Sometimes it could be the energy. Sometimes there's things that are happening in life that you can't fight. So learning to trust that is going to be huge to not get angry as a manifestor. The next aura or energy type is a projector. And I have quite a few projectors in my life. I love them dearly, but they're spicy. Projectors have a penetrating aura. And the way I really like to think about it is like they have this beaming light of an aura. So whatever they're looking at, it feels like the sun is looking at you. It feels like you're being inspected by a manager. And it's like, this is like a district manager. So they have more say. It feels intense. It feels very intense. And when you know a projector and you understand their energy, it really does help, because some projectors can be so blunt that they don't realize the way they're coming off. So if you love somebody who's a projector, be patient with them. And if you yourself are a projector, you need to learn to wait for the invite. You are a guide. You know better. You do. But you don't have consistent energy to actually go and make it happen sometimes. You have to build something within your own walls, within what you are capable of, and trust that someone is going to see your genius. Someone is really going to appreciate it, and you're going to be so helpful to them. Now, whether this means literally somebody else who is your boss, who sees your worth and you get this great job, or you are really good at something specific, whether it is something that uses energy or not, cooking, for example, and you start to be seen for that. You start to get recognized for that. That is sort of the energy of a projector. One of the hardest things about projectors is you guys have this desire to make it happen. Sometimes you don't have consistent energy. Sometimes it's harder for you to actually physically do it. And the other side of it is you love recognition. And it's because you know that you know. There's this innate feeling within you of you are a guide, and you just want to make sure that you're actually doing it well. So getting recognition is your way of knowing guiding people is working for you. So if you're a projector who is in a place that you're not feeling appreciated or you're not feeling seen, it can feel really hard to be excited to show up. It can feel really hard to actually get into whatever it is that you're doing, because if you don't have consistent energy and you're not being seen, that is a sign to leave where you are. It's not a sign of your failure. It's not a sign that, you're doing something wrong. There's a mismatch in energy. And once you accept that and know that as true, you will no longer weigh your personal value and the worth that you really carry for others. You're not going to weigh that on what other people are saying. You're not going to weigh that on how much you make. About 20% of the world is projectors. And really what this means is projectors are meant to see what people are doing wrong and help them fix it. But in order to be received well, in order for someone to actually hear you as a projector, you also have to be, you have to wait for the invite. This is the part with human design that I think is so interesting, because I think people forget just because there's certain percentages, it's just the way the chips fall. It's just how the gates get activated. That's what determines if you have a certain aura. It's not like you're a chosen one if you have one of these more rare auras like a reflector that I'm about to get into. That's not the thing. That's not what makes it different. It's the way you connect with others and understanding that energy. Every single energy type has to wait for another. Every single energy type is meant to learn how to respond, how to connect, how to inform, how to initiate, how to wait, how to trust, how to reflect. There's this energy, there's this flow between all of us. That is what's important to remember about human design. So last but certainly not least, we have reflectors. Reflectors are the most rare, and it's because you have no definition in your chart. This is tricky for a couple of reasons. One, it means you have a sampling aura. You're going to feel a little bit here, taste a little bit there, notice something there, hear something there, and your aura is just going to sort of pick and choose what you're noticing about other people. I mean, it's not literally like grabbing, it's more just whatever starts to come up, right? But the reason it's very interesting is, as someone with no definition, you have to learn to trust that things are coming together and things are in a cycle, okay? So if you are a reflector, the best way for you to make better decisions for yourself is going to be working with the moon. Because you have no inner authority, it's all outer. It's all trusting the people you're with. It's learning to make sure you're in an environment that's actually nurturing for you and not something that's causing you more harm. Reflectors are going to feel like their most powerful self when they take more time to be alone, but not too much. It gets a little tricky, right? You have to take time to be alone to really sit with yourself, to clear out other people's energy and figure out what you want. Journaling is so important for reflectors. Maybe voice memos if you don't necessarily want to be writing. And when you really connect to your inner world and you start to realize, well, I don't like the way that person said that, and I didn't like this, and you start to notice what you do and don't like about the world around you, that's how you're going to figure out who you really are on the inside. And again, just because you are a reflector, it doesn't mean that you're somebody that has to wait for someone else to do something for you. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be doing anything and you just are, going to float on a cloud. Go out there and do the things that feel good to you. Trust yourself to make decisions. Work with the moon. Trust that it's okay to take your time making a decision. Trust that whatever you feel, whatever feelings you notice in your body is going to be so important for what is around you. That is how you make your decisions. It's all energetic. It's not literal, it's very figurative. And one of the best things you can do for yourself as a reflector is truly learn to trust your intuition. Understanding those feelings that you have, that intuitive pull, that thing that sounds like a little bell in your ear, trusting that is going to help you tenfold. So just to recap, understanding your human design energy type is not about knowing if you're this precious gem versus somebody else being like ho-hum. It's how you operate within society. It's how you connect to others. It's how you can use your personal energy and feel empowered by being in your personal vehicle. If you're ready to get deeper insights and to truly learn how to live a more aligned life, you can check out my 3-month program, The Live by Design Vortex, through my website, rxtarot.com. And remember, learning to live your human design is not about being perfect. It's not about figuring it out exactly. It's about learning to trust yourself. So if something you hear doesn't resonate, trust that. Trust yourself. Trust that more than anything else, okay? I genuinely hope this video is helpful. Please reach out if you have any questions or you want more help. I love you. I hope you have a good one. Bye.